Welcome to our very first meta report for the Paradox Drive. I'm excited to dive into it, and as you can see, an EX from the Paradox has been here, so be sure to hit that like, hype, and subscribe, and let's go ahead and dive into what decks are cruising and crushing this weekend. Up first, let's talk about Miraidon EX, and there are actually like two different versions of this, where you have this one that's playing one Miraidon EX, or you have the second one where there's playing two Miraidon EXs, and that just depending on which version that you're going to play depends on like the number of supporters that you also have. So let's just kind of like talk through what you're looking at. We have two Magnemites, two Magnetons, so you're looking at the 50 HP for the 30 attacking power. You have two Mana Zones, 90 Mirror Shots, you have two Oricorios, and you have one Miraidon EX. And then in here, what's the interesting part is that you have one Professor Turo, whereas in here you drop the Pokemon Center Lady that was in the first one, and so that way you can have room for two Professor Turo. You actually also take out a Magna Zone, and you have two Miraidon EXs. Everything else is kind of the same, right? You still want the Lucia, you still want the Clemont in here to support your Magnemite and getting your Magneton. We do have the newest supporter, Juliana, but like because you're pulling out so many cards, you are going to consistently get your stage 2, especially like in this sense where you're only running one of them. It's really not that big of a deal, especially when your heavy hitter is Miraidon EX. You can also then cycle it back into your deck, so that way you can just do it again, right? Like once you drop down the second one, it goes up to the front. You can then Professor Turo, the one that gets hurt, throw that into the bench, back into the deck, and then play out. So what's really interesting about this, I think the only thing that I think of, right, like this deck is beyond unbelievably, like it goes hard. Like you have the stall and Oricorio to stop any EXs from like attacking while you're safely just building up into the background. Just getting like four volt charges, right? Like both Magnemites, Magnetons, that can be easy to get into because if you have your searchers, you're boosting up your attack to like 80 with just 4 or 100 with just 4. So like you can get into the attacks much quicker, and you obviously are just scaling up here as well too. The only thing that I would say, let me know in the comments like literally right now, Magnezone EX, I think that is a great powerful finisher if you take out one of your Miraidon EXs in this case where you're running 2. Just even having that safe one for there, it's bulky, it still hits hard, you're still running electric energy. So let me know. I think I would run that over the Magnezone. I think in a deck like this, you have ways to hit opposing Oricorios in between here. I guess you can just one-shot them, but I do like having a Magnezone EX for the bulk, for the attack power as well too, especially like if you're not able to like hit your Miraidon in here specifically. But this deck here, this first one that only has the one Miraidon EX, it did go 12-1-1 to win out the tournament, and then this version right here went 11-3 to place a second. So really strong finishes in the biggest tournament over the weekend. Over 500 players. Number 1 and number 2 are those two versions of this deck right here. So really, like, you want to do well, just pick one of these and just kind of run with it. Up next, we have Mega Sceptile. Mega Sceptile, this deck went 11-2, taking 3rd place in that tourney as well. And this one just kind of went all in, right? Like, it is just Trico, Mega Sceptile, Rare Candies, Pheromosa, and that's it. I'm running 4 basics. I am running Rare Candy. I'm gonna get my mods, and I'm just using everything else to support. Like I'm gonna just jump blues. I'm gonna support my back, and I'm gonna attack and soften up the bench. I'm gonna Cyrus whenever I need to, and just going from there. Folks like to play dark types, so I get to get a little advantage weakness because of grass. I have poison, so if they're not running Pokemon Center Lady on their end, like they're gonna get hurt by that. So I am softening things up to ensure that I can attack at 140 and feel fine with them losing that as well too. Mega Sceptile has come out to be a really strong Pokemon. It got the nickname Grass. It's just a grass version of Blaziken, but I think outright it has its own leg to stand on. And then we are looking at, so you have this version where it's really tight on your level Pokemon again, just for basics, even with the two Frigate Force, and then you go right into your Mega Sceptile. Whereas this version right here, you do play around with a little bit more basics. You do have 4, but you have the Teal Mask, you have 1 Pheromosa, you do have the Grovyle that's in here. There's a split between the Rare Candy and the Quick Grow Extract. You can soften things up in the back by then making sure that they do get knocked out by the Terminating Tail. You have the Teal Mask too for any opposing sleeps on your end. If you're into the mirror, you don't get poisoned, which is super helpful because of just the breakpoints that's in there as well too. And this has a little bit of staying power. You have Pokemon Center Lady here to just like compensate for that Teal Mask that you are missing, whereas this you're allowed to go for that bigger healing with Erica because you have Teal Mask to help you with your status conditions later on. Either one is totally fine. I would definitely say this version right here, even though like Mega Sceptile is just 2 energy, it's already aggressive. Like this is even more foot to the pedal, gas all the way to the wall, turbo, just like trying to get into your Mega Sceptile as quick as you can and just attack here. Whereas like you have different ways of being in terms of what you're doing for attacks and therefore for that. But like there's nothing wrong with that either, right? Like this sets you up with some good advantages because of the 50 to 130 plus the -10. That is overall between those 2 turns can net you 190 worth of damage, which is a really also good breakpoint to have when it comes into opposing Mega Pokemon. Then we take a look at Zorra here. This one went 9 and 3. And when looking at the different deck styles, right? So in this big tournament, we saw Miraidon, Sceptile, Miraidon, Sceptile, and then we had this new deck here. So just taking a look at this, and this was really fun because we got to see a new Paradox Pokemon. We got to see the Roaring Moon in here to be able to add in a little bit of tech into this build here. Your name of the game is to like just get your Bombardier down, run around, let your Dark type Pokemon run around for 1 cost less, right? You get to retreat for just 1 energy with Zoroark, which is amazing because then you only need to commit 1 energy and then attack again. Dark Ride only needing 1 energy, so that way it's a 3 energy attacker. That's huge instead of it losing 2, so we can get right back into it to attack. Mega Absol gets to attack, gets to retreat for free. Roaring Moon is basically Sabrina, so you want to put it down onto the bench, you force your opponent to switch out, and then you can see what they get into. And even if you put that down, you get to retreat and move around for free to see who's the better Pokemon to deal with your attack, whether it's Zoroark, whether it's Darkrai, whether it's Mega Absol. Like this is really strong to be able to do into all of those. And now you have a great basic to be able to answer into an Oricorio if you need to. Dark is a really strong archetype in terms of the support that they're getting, and they're continuously getting that. Seeing this kind of like do well. This ended up in a top 8 finish, but I like how this Pokemon can be used as just like another means of just disrupting what your opponent is doing, and you're already doing that with Mega Absol, you're already doing that with Darkrai with the constant pings, and now you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basics. Like Zoroark is going to be eating quite handsomely for like that 90 for that 1 energy every single time here. And then we continue into I don't know how or why or who thought this up or basically like who hurt you. But in a second tournament, not as large, this was about like 300 players. The first place was Magnezone Miraidon, so we don't need to go over that. But this came in second, and this went 11 and 2, and it is another version and or tighter version of Sleep Scam here, right? You're running straight up just Psychic Energy. You have your Dark Rise for the extra ping, but now you have this boosted evolution to just jump right into it, the swing of things. So Igglybuff can put you to sleep, they attack for 10, now you have your Dark Rise getting you pinged. And then before you would need to have 3 energy on Dark Rise to attack for 40, now you just need Espeon to evolve, attack for 40, your Pokemon's now asleep. And so you're just getting sleep hits from everywhere. You're getting it from Espeon, you're getting it from Swablu, you're getting it from Igglybuff, you're getting it from Darkrai if you need to, and you essentially only need 1 Mega Altaria EX primarily because you can let the other Pokemon go down here, right? Like this is just your ultimate sleeper. They're getting knocked out. If they don't have the Pokemon Center Leaf, they don't have the Teal Mask, even, you know, like maybe they're throwing in a big Masalda, like this deck screams Sleep Scam from the highest mountains. And if you're playing it, I guess you feel good. We're gonna play it and test it out ourselves to see how well it's been going, but it got second place, and so let's just see how that works out. But this going against this, constantly seeing tails when it's your turn to wake up, getting your health dwindled down, and now instead of losing just 10 damage, because like at least before you're like, oh, bad dreams is 20, there's only one, Igglybuff is just 10, so that's 30. If I wake up, it's fine and I can knock it out. 90 HP with Hypnoblast attacking you for 1 energy just for 40. It's just more damage over time, and so that's what like makes this feel bad to run into. It makes sense in terms of it, and it's not the player's fault. For people who play this, you know, folks probably said, hey, what can we do against sleep? And Dina said, hey, here's more sleep support. So there it is, folks. If you like this playstyle or you're looking to do this, this is definitely a good way to go into. Then we continue on in that same tournament. This deck went 9-3, tying for third. We see Mega Lucario and Hitmontop EX again, just another version, right? Like Mega Sceptile had him on Pheromosa, where you can attack for 20 to the front and 20 into the active, 20 onto the bench. Hitmontop does the same thing, and then you're just looking into it. But since you have your stage 1 and you're fighting, you get things like Karina and you get things like Arena of Antiquity, so that way you are attacking for that extra 50 damage to the active spot if it's an EX. So Hitmontop could essentially for 1 energy be attacking for 70 damage, right? Like Riolu can build that up as well. You also have your Mega Lucario, because Hitmontop doesn't need any extra energy. Mega Lucario can take the 3 energy and then go in with the attack and attack for 140, which is really great, and then go in from there. The other Mega Lucario deck, if I see it here, is with Koraidon. That's right, folks. Koraidon made a top 8 finish. They got in 6th. 8-3. So you have Riolu, the Fighting Fist, to do more damage to active EXs. You have Mega Lucario, same thing, 3 energy. Now you're attacking for 140. But now you have Koraidon, who can just take the energy up as needed, jump right into things, hit world record 110. You're there. So you can have this be, you know, like you're attacking Hitmonlee. These are all 1 energy attackers, right? So you're just putting them down. As soon as you have 2 energy, you can just throw your Koraidon, attack with 3. It's not needing to build up to get to 110. You just need 3 energy to do so, and you have your Arena of Antiquity to help boost things in Karina if needed. Field Blower, I haven't seen this card out a while in the play here, but this allows you to just kind of like get rid of cards as well to give yourself a nice little good support tech in here. But Zygarde promo, 1 energy for 30 is pretty good because you're hitting the active spot for it, or you can hit 30 onto a bench, really going into the active spot. So a lot of good pinch hitters here for this deck for just 1 energy, which is great because then you're not dedicating a lot to something else. You're able to attack and soften things up right away, which is what you want to do. 3 energy for just 110 damage is fine. It's not the craziest thing in the world. So being able to soften things up to get to that break point is really great, and these 2 cards here are really good for getting you to be able to do so. And again, what 8-3, pretty strong in that sense into the matchup. Now, the last deck that we're going to talk through is Mega Altaria with Gourgeist, Meloetta, and Comfey. So you can think of this as more of a toolbox. Mega Altaria EX is literally like the mama dragon, I feel like, for all things psychic. If there are new psychic that comes out, whether it's a stage 1, it's a non-EX, Mega Altaria is going to find some way somehow to just kind of like fit it in. And what's really cool about Comfey, this card has been out for a while, and now that we're seeing, you know, like you're getting decks like this that's coming out and is screaming, hey, I'm going to put you to sleep and you're going to pay for it. Comfey allows you to heal from special conditions and not be affected by them as long as you have a psychic energy attached. So you're running all psychic anyways, so it's just kind of can sit onto your bench and just protect things like a Teal Mask would. You don't have the output in terms of damage that a TMS can get to, right? TMS can get up to 120 once there's 5 energy out between both actives, but Comfy, you're really just using it as this ability for Flower Shield to ensure that you don't have to worry about sleep, poison, burn, paralysis, like any of that nonsense. So pretty good in terms of a means to just be able to sit on the board, and then it being able to sit on the board also boosts up your Mega Altaria as well too, so you don't feel bad for it taking a board space either. So either way, pretty great. I do like the insertion of Meloetta here to just make sure that you're thinning through the deck to be able to do so and get those cards in. It also gives you room to build up those Pokeballs so that way you can get your Gorgas up, get to attacking right away as well too. Peculiar Plaza is cute, just to kind of get your Gorgas out of there for free so you can get into your Mega Altaria. But even just being able to swap around, move things around, force them to use Osiris when they have to. Peculiar Plaza just gives you a lot more mobility that your opponent doesn't have, which is really strong. Let me know, y'all, what have y'all been cooking up? What have y'all been playing and building out so far? My most excited thing to see is that, like, hey, Miraidon EX is out here. This was our first deck that we played and tested and had so much fun doing, but now I'm kind of scared to face against it myself once rank comes out. But let me know in the comments of what y'all think and what you all are running. Can't wait to hear it. All right, y'all, if you enjoyed the vibes of the channel, be sure to hit that like, hype, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.